Owen Abbas Hussain here from FightHype.com, and I'm here with none other than Charlie Duffield, light heavyweight prospects. We're here at Dillian White's workout. Obviously, we've heard that you're with Dillian now. Let's talk about that a little bit, your sort of association, sort of partnership that you've got with Dillian White. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, Dillian's like my brother. He's helped me massively in this camp, like bringing me down here and just training alongside him. You can't ask for anything better than training alongside the champ. So yeah, I appreciate it so much and that. And yeah, we've got a good connection, a good bond, me and Dillian. Like we get on really well. Like I say, it's like a big family, the team we've got around us.
I know Dillian's obviously involved in management. Is he managing you at this present time or no?
He's not managing me at the minute. Mark Tibbs is managing me, my trainer. So yeah, so he's not managing me at the minute, but he's sort of looking after me, like inviting me down. I'm part of his team, and yeah, I've got a lot of respect for Dillian.
Charlie, I've heard your name for a couple of years now, but at this present time there hasn't been that progression there. What's happened in the last couple of years? There seems to be parts where you weren't fighting. There was times where you weren't fighting. Talk to me about the last couple of years and what's going on now.
Yeah, the last couple of years, I had a bit of bad luck going back nearly 2 years ago now. Yeah, I think it was nearly a year I didn't fight. I couldn't get a fight. One opponent turned up like heavyweight, basically. They didn't want, like the boxing ball wouldn't let me fight. Another opponent pulled out the night before. They said they couldn't get a replacement, and it was just a bit of sheer bad luck, to be fair. And then obviously I joined with Mark Tibbs and stuff like that, and under the guidance of him and teammate Dillian and stuff like that, they're pushing me on these big shows and these big platforms, and I'm grateful for these massive opportunities.
Let's talk about the opportunity then. You're fighting Dan Aziz on the undercard of Dillian Whyte-Rivas. It's your first opportunity to get your name out there, and you're fighting a very credible opponent, and somebody who's known, especially in London, in Dan Aziz. Talk to me about your opponent, Dan Aziz. What have you seen of him? What do you make of him?
Yeah, I know Dan Aziz very well. He trains out of the Peacock, where I was training with Mark Tibbs and stuff like that. He trains under the guidance of my old amateur trainer, Brian O'Shaughnessy. So I know him very well. They're a lovely group of lads and stuff like that. But like I say, in this sport, you've got to want, when you want the titles and stuff like that, you've got to put the friendship and that aside. And in the ring, July the 20th, it's going to be brutal. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be, we're going to war. So.
And especially with your styles, obviously, I've seen you fight many times before, and you leave everything in that ring. I've seen Dan fight before as well, and he seems like, you know, he's not one to back away from a challenge. It seems like this is a real war in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, there's some great fights on this undercard. Me and Dan Aziz, a lot of people say 50-50. Rapport, Bill Smith, a lot of people say 50-50. And a lot of even people saying 50-50 for Dillian White-Rivas. So it's a great card. And Dave Allen Price could be a 50-50. Could be. So it swings around about us that day. Literally, whoever turns up and puts on a good performance. And this fight with me and Dan Aziz is massive, especially on a big O2 undercard pay-per-view. You couldn't ask for anything better. It's like a dream come true, and the winner of this pushes right on. I think it sets up some big fights in the southern area, yeah. And I think just the winner of this sets up some great fights in the light heavyweight division, because it's thriving at the minute.
Let's talk about that division then. Like you said, it's firing, and there's a lot going on in that division. Where do you want to see yourself? Say you beat him in 2 weeks' time. For the next 12 months, what's your goal? Where do you want to reach?
I want to be heading towards, at least in the next 12 months, at least that British title. Yeah. So that's the route I suppose you're going to head. Whether it goes to the English and then British title eliminator and then British, whether it goes to... I'll have to sit down with my team and after the fight and analyse where we go from there and what's the best routes and stuff like that, because I want to fight the best. I'm in it to fight the best. I've had 8 fights, and so I think Dan's had 8 or 9. I think he's had 8, the same as me. And it's a massive fight to take at we ain't been, do you know what I mean, 8 fights, and we've both took a big fight. So you get some of these fighters that are 14, 15 fights in and not fought no one. So I think this has opened people's eyes in the boxing world, and they're like, do you know what, they're taking a risk, they're taking a gamble. Maybe we need more boxers like that out there to get these big fights on and early on in their career, like I say. Because if you go in there and give it all, give it your best, and you lose, like I say, at least you can hold your hand up and say, you know what, I took a big fight early on in my career. So it's only a win-win, really.
I just want to talk about Dillian White, somebody you just said has helped you quite a long way. There's a lot of talk after his fight against Rivas, and there's a lot of talk with him against Tyson Fury, not in the sense of a fight, because it seems like Tyson Fury is actually tied up. He's going to be tied up with the Wilder fights. There's a lot of back and forth. What do you make of this whole back and forth between the two?
Do you know what? I hold my hand up for Dillian. He's a warrior. He trains hard. He's a fighting man. He'll fight anyone, you know that. Like, do you know what I mean? He wants to be in these big fights, and I think a lot of the top opponents are ducking him. They are ducking him, and they keep. Tyson Fury talks a lot. Like, I love Tyson Fury. He's a nice geezer, but he does talk a lot. But obviously Dillian's my teammate. Do you know what I mean? He's like my brother, so I'm backing him all the way. But he just wants these big fights, and I think it's unfair that he's not getting the opportunity for these big fights. Like I say, he's been up there lingering for ages, and he should have had these big fights or the world top fights and stuff like that, and it just ain't happening. Like I say, I had a bit of bad luck in mine. I think he's had a bit of bad luck in that department, but it will come. He's looking brilliant. He's training like a warrior, the same as me, and me and him pushing each other and stuff. And come July the 20th, you're going to see a big performance from Dillian, and he pushes on, and he'll fight anyone.
Just want to ask about that, and then talking about Tyson Fury, he's announced that the sort of Deontay Wilder fight is going to happen in February. His promotional team have said maybe it's not been agreed yet, but say if that fight was to happen and that rematch with Deontay Wilder was to happen, how do you see that fight playing out?
I thought Tyson Fury won the first one, to be fair. I ain't going to lie, I give him every round apart from the 2 knockdowns, so I thought he won that fight. There's a bit of debate there where people said he got about 25 seconds in the 12th round on a knockdown. Maybe you could argue in that point. So if you're looking at the draw in that way, maybe it was fair, because if he did get that extra time to recover and stuff like that, he should have been out and he should have lost. But then again, I thought he won the fight hands down. So looking at it in that point, the draw was probably fair. But I do think he outboxes Deontay Wilder again, definitely.
Just want to ask you about a fight that's happening in America. FightHype, so we're based in America, so I need to ask you about this fight that's going to go on between Manny Pacquiao and Keith Thurman. It's on the same night as the night that you guys fight. Talk to me about that fight. Who do you see winning that fight?
Do you know what? I love Manny Pacquiao. He's been one of my greats for a long time. He's just a warrior, and he's such a good fighter. But Keith Thurman's a big, natural, strong lad. Do you know what I mean? So I don't know what. It's a tricky one, because if Pacquiao's on his game, you think he might box around him and nick it on points. I don't think he'll stop Keith Thurman. He's just too tough in my eyes. But I don't know. Maybe Manny Pacquiao might have been at his best days. Do you know what I mean? So maybe I can see Keith Thurman nicking that one. Yeah, maybe my money will probably be on Keith. He's a natural, strong. But I love Pacquiao. I wish him all the best. But I think he's had many years of this thing. I think it's time for him to come out of the sport and enjoy his time with his family and friends and stuff. And maybe he can push on, still be in the boxing world, but in a different, not fighting.
Let's talk about him then, because he's been through different eras of fighting. He was fighting when he was a very lightweight. Then he goes up to the Morales-Barrera era. Then he's fighting in the Mayweather, Cotto, Margarito era. Now he's fighting in this era with the Keith Thurmans, the Bronas, etc. He's been phenomenal for boxing, hasn't he?
He's been one of the greats. That's what I'm saying. You can't say a bad word about Manny Pacquiao. He's absolutely unbelievable, and he's such a nice person. Everyone loves Manny Pacquiao. There's not one person in the world that don't love him, because he's that down to earth. He's just got that lovely nature and soul about him. He's brilliant, and what he does for his country is unbelievable. When he paid for all the homes and made homes for people that couldn't afford it and stuff. And what he does, it's very touching. Do you know what I mean? He's such a lovely. That's what I'm saying. He could come. I just would like to see him now come away from hang his gloves and maybe be in the boxing world, but bringing on these up and coming young fighters. Because like you say, he's been about a long time, and he's been one of the greats.
Right, Charlie, I'm going to let you go, but we're going to hopefully see you on Fight Week. Good luck for your preparation for your fight on the undercard of Dillian White, Oscar Rivas. Thank you very much. Talk to FightHype.com. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, bro.